So, I thought I would answer some questions as to what the hell tar is. Where did it come from? When did it start? What is it all about? How has it changed throughout the years? Well, I'm going to answer those questions for you right now. So, as for when tar started, that all started in 2012. Now, there's actually quite a bit of history behind the armed resistance, how it started, what happened, and let me go back to maybe about 2012, earlier in 2012, probably about the summer of 2012, and I remember it very clearly. I remember I had just gotten my new Xbox 360. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I have an Xbox 360 now, so now I can do Xbox Live. I'd always liked Xbox Live. I'd like the idea of playing online with people like that. And I had never had that experience before, so I wanted some new people to play with. So I had heard about the idea of clans, and for any of you who know anything about online gaming, at least especially with consoles, you know about clans. It's a bunch of group of people that think they're the most badass people in the world, and they go out and they kick some ass and they have some fun. So I did find one. Now I did actually join one because I was actually trying to build my own, and I was sending out messages because, I'm pretty sure if you were playing on Xbox Live back then, you probably got a shit ton of messages. Oh, you gotta join my clan, dude. It's the best thing ever. I'm gonna fucking take over the fucking world. You got messages like that all the time. You're like, oh, fuck off. Shut up. I was one of the people sending them, so I was kind of a dick. I know, but whatever. Yeah, and so I just wanted people to play games with and have fun. So I ended up finding another group of, another group of people ended up finding me and recruiting me to their clan, and I can't for the life of me remember what the clan's name was. I'm pretty sure I'll remember it at like 3 a.m. Tomorrow morning or something like that. I'll probably remember it, but yeah, I cannot remember it for the life of me. But I was recruited to their clan, and we actually had a lot of fun. We went out, we kicked some ass. I met some cool people that actually eventually transferred over to where I went to, and then tar after that. So basically what happened is, at the end of the day, tar evolved into a gaming community, but we're going to actually build up to how that happened. So I joined this clan, blah blah blah, time passes, we have our fun, and then all of a sudden I get a message after I'm trying to recruit someone to our clan. I get a message from someone else saying, hey, such and such group, which I'm not going to name because they're a bunch of assholes. At least they treated me like like shit when I left. I had perfectly valid reasons to do so, but it's whatever. I will refer to them simply as UG. If you know who UG are, you probably know they don't really exist anymore. They kind of just fucking died. So for any of you who are around that actually were there, you're probably laughing right now because you know the entire thing and you know how ridiculous it was. But yes, long story short, I ended up getting transferred over to this group called UG. I will not name their full name. This is just something I'm calling them for now, but I'm just going to call them UG. So I got recruited to UG, and this was an actual proper big gaming community that was actually very promising at the time. We had a lot of fun. I was talking with upper, management, if you will call them that. They were actually an established company, to be honest with you. I believe they were an LLC, so I was actually a part of this thing. And I was talking to their director of operations quite a bit, and long story short, I became the director of their Grand Theft Auto division, so I became the person who was in charge of everything Grand Theft Auto. I set up tournaments, I set up videos, I set up things like this. I organized that entire area of their community. I was in charge of it. It did take me a while to get up to that point, obviously. It took a few months, but this is very abridged. I'm not going to give you I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours in front of the camera, but yes, this is very abridged. Eventually, I was taken into the arms of UG, basically, and so I moved up very slowly. I met some people. I was talking with their director of operations a lot, and eventually I gained their trust, which is great because at the time they were great to be with. They're great people. It was a great community. We had a lot of fun playing Grand Theft Auto, and at least in my little area of it, because there were a lot of other games, a lot of other divisions, if you will call them that, going on within it. But yes, I eventually did earn their trust, and eventually the current director the director of that division at the time had stepped down. So I was to replace them because I was the best candidate for it. So long story short, I ran that for a few months, then a few things went haywire. A few of my members, actually, a few of the people that were under me started a little bit of shit, and eventually it led to a lot of drama, and I just said, fuck it, I'm out. I just didn't really want to deal with it at all. It just led to a bunch of dumb shit that shouldn't be happening, because at the end of the day, what are you doing when you're playing video games? You're not here to, deal with high school drama and a bunch of dumb shit. You're there to have fun. You're there to have a good fucking time. And I loved being able to organize all this stuff and have all these people just listen to my ideas and just pool together and create these awesome fucking times. It's a lot like, we had a lot of fun. It was basically like if you watch a fucking Achievement Hunter Let's Play video. Pretty much every day was like that. It was so much fucking fun. We had so much fun together, but then all this kind of crap happened, and eventually I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna go do my own thing. So in late 2012, I break away from them and name my new group The Armed Resistance. That is where The Armed Resistance came from. So it actually started out as a gaming community that eventually did kind of fade away because I didn't have the time to keep it up, and eventually... Actually, the funny thing is that since they were a company, apparently one of the people who was tied to The Armed Resistance, I'm not going to give names here, the only name I will give is William, because he's the person who actually came through all the way with me. So if you're watching this, dude, hey, what's going on? We haven't talked in 20 fucking years. Not literally 20 years. Don't take that literally. But yeah, basically what had happened is, I'd formed my own group, The Armed Resistance, right? And so, apparently, one of the people that I brought on with me from, under my division, had signed a contract once they had taken over my position. Apparently, they had signed an anti-competition, there was an anti-competition clause in that contract. So when I pulled them over, they had the right to pursue me legally. And so basically... TAR kind of ceased to exist for a while until eventually I kicked the guy. I found out what happened. I kicked the guy out and I said bye. And then eventually we just sort of went on doing our own thing with a few friends, and it didn't really grow. But at one point, the Armed Resistance did have a few hundred members, and we were actually doing pretty well. We were having quite a bit of fun, and that was great. And eventually I just said, you know what? I'm done with this whole thing. I'm going to drop TAR for now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's probably just going to stop existing. But then one day it came onto YouTube, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to have something under this name. Even though, I had the Armed Resistance YouTube channel for a while during 2012 going upwards, and I uploaded a bunch of really shitty videos because all I had at the time as far as computing power was concerned was my Nexus 7 tablet. So I had to do everything with that, including recording footage. Yeah, that was really shit. I pointed the fucking front-facing camera, which is terrible, by the way, at my TV. Yeah, that was something else. Good times. Good times. But yeah. Eventually I just sort of dropped the whole gaming community thing, and I just had my group of friends, and we just had our fun for a while until we all kind of went our separate ways. And life took its hold on me like a fucking vice grip, choking me to death. Thanks, adulthood. But yes, now we have the Armed Resistance YouTube channel, which is basically just sort of here, and it's where I put out all my stuff that I just want to talk about, whether it be gaming, whether it be vintage technology like my Betamax deck down there. Basically anything I want to talk about I put on this channel and I share with you guys, because you know what, the Armed Resistance doesn't have to be dead. There's a lot of passion behind that name that a lot of people aren't aware of. There's actually a long story. What I said is very abridged. If you want to hear the whole story, I might one day actually give you the whole story. But for now, I'm just giving you this abridged little thing because I don't have the fucking time to sit here in front of for 3 hours in front of a camera describing to you everything that had happened. But yes, that is basically where the Armed Resistance came from. That is what we have evolved into today to become what we are, which is basically just a one-man YouTube channel where I do whatever the fuck I want, because you know what, I feel like it. So if you've ever wondered where we came from and why I do what I do, why I talk about what I talk about, well, there you go. Basically because I just use this name. I use the name that I'm very passionate about from my old gaming community, and I just transformed it into this. And I really hope that, you know, I can carry that name onward to something much bigger and better than I ever could have imagined it would have been back in 2012. So I hope this answers some questions. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.